I'm Sari.
And I'm Haley.
And this is Seamwork Radio. Welcome back to Seamwork Radio, where we share practical ideas for building a creative process so you can sew with intention and joy. And today we're talking about our favorite outfit formulas for spring. So we're going to cover 5 easy combinations that work beautifully for this transitional season, plus the specific patterns and pieces that make each formula come to life. So if you struggle with knowing what to wear when the weather can't make up its mind, this episode is for you. All right, Haley, I'm excited to talk about this today, but let's start with our icebreaker. So tell me about a time when you were completely unprepared for spring weather. So maybe you left the house like in a sundress and it started pouring rain, or you wore a heavy jacket and you ended up sweating all day. Have you ever had that?
Yeah, pretty much every spring.
Every day of every spring?
Have I ever? Yeah. I can think of a lot of examples. Specifically where we live, it's very rainy and wet in the spring. It's also very windy, which I think is the part that I always forget about.
Yeah.
And so I'll be like, oh yeah, this is great. I'm wearing like a midi dress, but I have like the appropriate outer, layers for varying temperatures. I have maybe like the appropriate footwear, which is unlikely. I never wear appropriate footwear. But then my dress will be like all flowy and it's just whipping around in the wind and flashing people. I'm gathering it clutched in my hands when I cross the street. So yeah. I think volume is also my enemy in the spring.
Yeah.
It's everyone's enemy in a windy scenario.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I feel that. I think for me, it goes in 2 directions. I think on the one hand, I really don't like to be cold, so I often overdress for the weather. So right now, we're still in winter as we're recording this. It's January, and we're having one of those fake spring periods where it's very sunny every day and relatively warm. So yesterday, I went out to do some gardening, some of the winter pruning, and I was just like layered up. I was wearing my heat tech like base layer, and then I was wearing overalls. I was wearing leggings underneath my overalls, and then I was wearing like a padded jacket on top of it.
You were prepared.
I was prepared, and it was like 55 degrees or something. It was not that cold, and I ended up getting kind of sweaty and gross. So that's kind of like one thing. But then in the spring, I feel like when it turns into March, April, and things start to get a little bit warmer and sunnier, I'm just so eager for spring to happen. I try to make it happen by dressing a little bit, maybe not appropriate for the weather, like a little too spring or summery for the weather. So I tend to go either whole hog in one direction or the other, personally.
Yeah, I mean, in my brain, just spring is for like pretty floral dresses and flats, but practically speaking, at least where we live, it is just like not the time of year for that. That is summer attire.
Yeah. I think you naturally want to mimic what's going on in nature.
Right.
And the sun is starting to come out and there are flowers and things are colorful and light and pretty. And you want to, bring that into your wardrobe and that feeling that you want to carry around with you all day. And it's not always practical.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. All right, well, that was our icebreaker. I'm excited to talk about this today because I feel like outfit formulas really help with this problem. But before we get to that, if you have an icebreaker for us for a future episode, you can leave it in a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. So any question you have that you think would make a good icebreaker, we'll answer it in a future episode. You can also leave those comments on Spotify, and we read them there as well. All right, so let's talk about spring. So spring is one of my favorite seasons to get dressed for, but it's also the most challenging because one day, like we talked about, it's 65 degrees and sunny. The next, it's 45 and pouring rain. And where we live in the Pacific Northwest, spring means rain, rain, and more rain. And not just rain, but also mud and wind, like Haley was just talking about.
It's stormy.
Yeah, it is stormy. And where I live out in the country, and it is wet, muddy, and it's pretty dirty. So I used to spend so much time just every morning figuring out what to wear. So I just pull things out of my closet and try them on and reject them and start all over. Or I would just, on the opposite end of the spectrum, go through periods of just wearing sweats or leggings every day because I just didn't want to deal with it. And what I've learned over the years is that having a few reliable outfit formulas makes everything easier. So I'm not just talking about wearing the exact same thing every day, but I'm talking about having a framework that you can adapt based on your mood and the weather and what's clean in your closet. When you sew your own wardrobe, you really have the opportunity to build these formulas intentionally. You can make the individual pieces that work together in the colors and fabrics that make you feel good. So, Haley, do you find yourself relying on certain outfit combinations in spring, or do you just tend to wing it every day?
I would say spring, I mean, really any season, I probably rely on outfit formulas like 5 out of 7 days of the week.
Mm-hmm.
I like to work outside of the formula for like a little like creative exercise once in a while. And that's how you find like new combinations that you really like to wear. But for like day to day, it's so nice to have a few like tried and true formulas that you don't have to think about. And also, like you said, it just like really helps planning your sewing just become easier and makes it so that you make things that you actually wear more often.
I think it also helps to curb the impulse to always acquire more
Mm-hmm.
because you realize what you actually wear and what you don't wear. And you make the things that, like you said, that you actually are going to wear day to day, but then also it stops you from maybe buying things because they're trendy or because it looks cute or whatever when you know it doesn't really, it's not your thing.
Totally. And it can have the other effect too, where you're like, oh, wow, that's like a trend or something cool that like works really well for my formulas and for my lifestyle.
That's true too.
What about you? Do you rely on certain formulas in the spring?
All year round, I do. I like to have little outfit formulas and at the very least know what I enjoy wearing the most and what works for me. I think that's super helpful. But I think it's really helpful in spring when things are kind of all over the place.
Yeah. So as a formula person, what do you think makes a good outfit formula? Like, what are you looking for when you're putting together combinations that you're going to return to again and again?
I think the most important thing for me is that it's something that is practical and something that's comfortable, as well as something that I enjoy wearing. And for me, the best way to determine that is to look at what I actually am wearing. So maybe keeping track of what I wear day to day, maybe taking some photos of outfits for a while to see what I'm actually wearing, or just keeping track of what's getting worn in my closet. That really helps me to figure out which combinations are the ones that are actually getting worn and which ones I'll probably continue to wear. What about you?
That's what you just said is like definitely like first stop at the station, like first station. I think the other thing that I consider is what do I have multiples of? Like, for instance, I wouldn't necessarily make an outfit formula around midi skirts if I only have one midi skirt and I rarely wear it. So for me, an outfit formula needs to be something that I can like create a lot of like variations of with what I already have. So that's another thing that I really, really heavily consider. Do you plan your outfit formulas when you're doing your seasonal wardrobe planning, or do you let them kind of like naturally emerge as you wear things?
Both, I think. I think noticing the patterns of what I actually wear helps me to determine what they're going to be. But then when I actually sit down and decide what I'm going to be sewing for the season, at that time, then I definitely think about the outfit formulas in terms of what I'm going to bake, because I use the design your wardrobe process to plan out, these are the kinds of outfits I want to build. And so this is how these pieces fit into those outfits. And that's really, really helpful for me because I just end up making things that I will actually wear and that go with things I already have, which is, for me, that's what it's all about, because I want to actually use what I'm making and not just make something to have it. So, yeah. What about you?
I used to I've been trying something a little bit new here recently. I used to think about the outfits when I would do wardrobe planning, maybe less so in like a formulas way, but like, I don't know, just like, oh, what are a few outfits I could wear with this like thing I want to make?
Yeah.
But this year for winter, which like we mentioned, we're in winter right now. I looked back at my camera roll and I was like, I want to think about like what I wore last winter before I like as my starting point for everything. So I went back into my camera roll and I looked at all of my pictures of myself from last winter. And it really helped me to dissect the outfits that I wore most frequently. And also, like, if I felt cute enough to take a picture of myself, then it was probably like a good outfit.
Yeah.
I liked it. And it was really insightful. What I found was I did have a few outfit formulas that really like emerged, and it helped me to figure out my sewing cue, which for this season really just ended up being like a lot of base layers. And it also helped me as a thrift shopping girl to figure out the things that I wanted to hunt for in my wardrobe. And it was really revolutionary. I'm going to be doing this from now on.
That's really cool. Yeah, that sounds really, really helpful. I was doing really well at taking pictures of my outfits for a while last year, but I kind of fell off of it because I kind of was like, I don't know. I feel like I gleaned enough lessons from it where it didn't really feel that necessary anymore.
That's enough of that.
Yeah. I need to stop thinking about what I look like for a minute.
You know what? There's like, that's healthy too.
Yeah. Yeah, it can be useful to do it for a while and then, learn what you need to learn and keep going.
Totally. And I just like from pictures of like looking at like me and my kids and like,
yeah.
I didn't delete the picture, so I must like it enough.
Yeah. And those candid pictures can be super helpful too, because that's what you were actually wearing when you were out and about and doing the activities that you do in your daily life. It's not just like something you put on in the morning and you felt cute in it, but maybe it wasn't very practical. So
totally. And I looked at like all of it, all of the data points,
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, let's get into some of these formulas. I'm going to kick us off with the first formula, which is flared jeans, a pretty blouse, and flats. I love this one. It's such a classic 1970s inspired look. And it's one of those combinations that always feels pulled together without trying so hard. It's like very like Jane Birkin to me. Which is like who I always aspire to.
Yes.
Such levels of like put together, like, but also too cool to think too hard about it. I think that the key is finding jeans that fit you really well. I love something really high-waisted with a nice flare here. I think it works well for a lot of people, a lot of different body types. But you can totally adjust this to your liking. I sometimes will do a similar formula, but with like a straight leg jean. I think the Chelsea jeans are like such a perfect fit for this. They have that flared leg, they're high-waisted, and the patch pockets also add to the whole 1970s look. When you pair the flared jeans with a blouse that has some interesting details, you get this really like beautiful balance of casual and feminine. I also think that the flared jeans really balance out like a more voluminous romantic style top, which is great. You can go something up top for something like a little bit more bohemian, like the Dara blouse, which has those really beautiful, gorgeous gathered sleeves. Or if you really want to lean into that 1970s vibe, you could try the garnet pussy bow blouse. I think that it's like so chic and sophisticated and cool and really takes it in a different direction. The flats, to me, keep everything really comfortable and easy to move in, which is important when you're running around in the spring. Sari, I know you've made the Chelsea jeans, right?
Yes, I've made them 3 times now.
A tried and true.
Yeah, I've made them in dark denim. I've made them in a pale blue corduroy, and I've made them in like a chocolate brown corduroy. And they're one of my favorites. They're just like, they fit so well. They look so great. They're comfortable. They're practical, and I can wear all my blouses with them. So it's definitely a favorite. I just love this look. I think it's so versatile, and a really good mix of something that's practical and something that's very beautiful at the same time. And if flats don't work, you can always switch out the shoes if just something that does work better for you. But I do like the way it looks with a nice ballet flat for that classic
So cute.
Jane Birkin sort of look. Yeah. I just learned, because I'm going to Paris this spring, and I learned that Serge Gainsbourg's house is a museum you can actually go and visit. And it's like a time capsule of when they lived there. So I think I might have to do that.
Oh, I'll be living vicariously through you.
And see Jane Birkin's home. All right. And I love Serge. I love his music. All right. So let's talk about the next one, which is another one I really, really like, which is classic trousers plus a long sleeve tee and a wrap coat. So this is definitely one of my go-to formulas for spring, especially on the days when I want to feel a little bit more polished. Last spring, I wore a version of this outfit once or twice a week, just a simple linen trousers with a red and white striped long sleeve t-shirt. And it was great for travel too, which I love. It just has that kind of preppy French energy that I really love. And it's very effortless, but it's still intentional at the same time. So for the trousers, I think the Aran pattern is really perfect because it has such a simple and clean line. I think the faced waist rather than a waistband makes them feel really, really sleek. So I love that for this look. And I think they'd be beautiful in a light linen for spring, something that breathes but still has some structure and looks tailored at the same time. I think the Noah trousers would also really work well for this formula if you prefer a more traditional waistband with a fly front. And then for the top, you want something that's really classic. Like the Ryan tee is great if you like a crew neck because it's fitted, but it's not too tight and it layers really, really beautifully. If you prefer a boat neck, the Callan would be perfect. It has that French striped shirt vibe that's built right in, and the flared sleeves really give it some pizzazz. And then you can add a wrap coat over the top for those chilly mornings and evenings. And I think the Baz coat is ideal because it's so versatile. You can dress it up or down. It's really, really easy to wear and looks great it looks good over dresses too. I think it's just like a really pretty classic style. And what I love about this formula is how easily you can change the mood just by swapping the color or the print of your t-shirt. You can just go really basic with the pants and you can make a lot of different fun tops. I think this is a really nice classic look. And again, it has that kind of French vibe, which I think just works really, really well in spring. It's something that's very versatile, very classic. And just to me, it says spring.
I like this formula because the silhouette isn't like built in necessarily. It gives you a little bit of room to play with different silhouettes, whether you want like a more tapered trouser or a wide leg. You can similarly play with things you wear up top. And I think having a formula or two in your rotation that allows that kind of freedom can be really helpful for keeping you feeling like you're not like, Fred Flintstone wearing the same thing every day. All right. Our next formula is a denim skirt, sweater, tights, and a rain boot jacket situation. When it's rainy and it's spring, it's often and in the spring, like it's often rainy, a skirt and rain boots combination is actually like way more practical than pants sometimes. You don't have to worry about your jeans getting soaking wet and heavy. And you get to stay surprisingly dry and comfortable, especially when you layer in some tights to keep your legs nice and toasty. I think that denim is perfect for spring because it's substantial enough for cooler temperatures. But it just like is so versatile and it works with practically every other fabric. For a longer denim skirt, I think that the Brooks pattern is wonderful. It has all of those classic denim details like top stitching and pockets. But if you prefer something that's a little bit shorter and more playful, like I do, the Leonora skirt is great. It's a classic A-line shape. And both of these options look really great with boots and really great with tights. And either of them would look amazing in a colored denim too. like a soft sage green or a dusty rose, or even a white denim if you are not feeling like you have to save your whites for after Memorial Day. For the sweater, you could wear something hand knit if you knit. I'm very jealous. That would look gorgeous. Or you could sew something like the Pepper. Pepper is a loose fitting pullover with that wide mock neck collar and a drop shoulder. So it's really cozy and easy to style, easy to wear. Another option is the Cove sweater. If you like a polo collar, it adds a little preppy element that pairs really beautifully with denim. And then when you finish it all with your favorite tights and rain boots and a jacket, you're going to feel ready for whatever the weather does. Sari, I know that you wear a lot of skirts in the spring, but would you say you're more of a skirt person or pants person?
It's funny. I think in the winter I definitely wear more pants. But when it is raining, I do think that a skirt is actually a little bit more practical sometimes because you don't have to worry about the mud as much. And if you have a good pair of rubber boots that you can, I have some knee-high rubber boots that I can throw on, and they're super comfy with insoles in them. It keeps me dry. So
Yeah.
I really do. And it's nice because it's not quite as cold in the spring as it is in the winter. So as long as I'm wearing tights. And I love denim in spring. I just think it's the perfect choice for spring. I'm thinking about making a denim skirt this spring, and I'm deciding between Leonora, which you just mentioned, or doing the Orla A-line skirt in denim. I think would also be really, really pretty.
Oh, I'm going to have to think on that. I'll let you know.
But maybe changing the pockets on the Orla and doing like a patch pocket or something.
That would be really cute.
I think it'd be cute.
I vote that.
I think they'd both be great, but I've never made the Leonora, and it has all those cool denim details, so that would also be really, really fun.
Can't go wrong, honestly.
Yeah. All right, so for the next one, this is a favorite. This is one I'm going to lean into pretty heavily this spring, and I'm really excited about it, which is a wrap dress with a cardigan and flats. So a wrap dress is just one of those magical pieces that makes getting dressed feel so effortless. And there's something so lovely about finally being able to wear a lower neckline after bundling up all winter. It just feels like freedom, finally, in the spring. And I think the wrap silhouette is one that works really well for my body. And I know a lot of other people feel that way too. And then layering it with a cardigan means you can adapt to temperature changes throughout the day, which I think is really essential in spring. So we just released, at the time that this is coming out, the Posy dress, and I'm really, really excited about it. So it's actually a surplice style rather than a true wrap, which I think is even more practical. Like you get all of the advantages of the styling of a wrap dress, but you don't have to worry about the skirt flying open, which I really appreciate because that's one of the things with those windy days that I don't like about wrap dresses, or the potential wardrobe malfunction. So that's a nice little touch. It has a short A-line skirt that's really easy to wear, and the whole silhouette is just really classic and charming. If you prefer a longer length, the Taylor wrap dress is also beautiful. It has a midi skirt and long gathered sleeves that are really romantic. I have made the Taylor dress as well, and it's beautiful. It's a really lovely dress. And if you do like a longer sleeve, that's a really nice option too. And then for cardigans, you just have so many options depending on your style. The fig cardigan is fitted and it's more minimalist. It'd be perfect if you like clean lines. I've made that one twice in merino wool, and it is really lovely. Or you could go bulkier with the Lisa, which I've also made, which is a V-neck cardigan, and it has more of a relaxed fit. I like that one a lot over a softer dress, like a wrap dress too. We also just released the Thistle cardigan, which has a really cute flat lay collar. It's a bit more structured, and it would look really polished with a wrap dress. That's another one I'm thinking about making for this spring. I think it would look really pretty in like a cream color, structured knit. I think that would be really, really nice.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. What I like about that is with the flat lay collar, you could add so many different embellishments to it. So that's what I want to try. I'm really excited about that. I'll be sharing that on YouTube. So definitely pay attention to the YouTube channel if you want to see what I end up making with that, because I'm very excited about it. So this is one of those formulas that makes you feel put together even when you didn't put that much thought into it. So for that reason, I just love it for spring. It's definitely one of my favorites.
And you get to wear a dress, which is so great.
And you can wear tights if you need to wear tights. So it's something you can layer if it's cold, but then when it starts to warm up, you can take off the tights.
Totally. And I think it would pair great with boots as well.
Yeah.
All right. And our final formula, which is one of my personal favorites for the spring, which is soft pants, a fitted tee with a pair of clogs or boots. This formula is one that I turn to when I really want to feel like comfortable, but still pulled together. It's perfect for running errands, working from home, or just living your life without feeling like you're in pajamas, but it also kind of feels like you're in pajamas in the best possible way. The key is choosing soft pants that have enough structure to look intentional. You don't want full-on sweatpants here. You want something that walks the line between comfort and polish. You can make soft elastic waist pants in either a knit or a woven fabric, depending on what you prefer. For knit options, the Palmer pants are really elevated lounge pants. They have a high waist with an elastic waistband / pockets, and they're so comfortable, but they actually look like real pants, which is exactly what you're looking for here. For a woven version, my preference is the Joss pants. There are classic wide leg elastic waist pants, but they look really beautiful in a linen or a lightweight cotton. We've both made Joss over the years, and we love these pants. Then you pair it with a fitted tee to balance out the volume of the wide leg pants. The Orlando tee is perfect if you like a scoop neckline with cap sleeves. It's simple and it's flattering. For more coverage, the Alice tee is a long-time favorite of both Sarah and me. It has a crew neckline and long sleeves, and it's just one of those basics that you'll make time and time again. And also, if you want something that's a little bit more soft and feminine, if that's more your taste, the Goldie tee has a cinched sweetheart neckline and gathered sleeves. And it's so pretty with a casual pant. I can see this looking really great if you made the Joss in a silk fabric and would just really elevate the entire look. Finish this with a pair of clogs, my preference. I'm a clogs girl through and through. You can hear me clomping down the hallway. Or some ankle boots. And you have an outfit that feels really effortless. What I like about this formula is that it doesn't feel like you're trying too hard, but you still look like you have your life together, which is always what I'm striving to achieve. Sari, are you into soft pants, or do you prefer something more trouser or structured?
I like both. I prefer a little bit of both. So I have definitely the flared jeans that we mentioned earlier, a nice pair of trousers, and then soft pants for those work from home days. I think you can't beat it. It's just so comfortable. You feel like you're in pajamas, but you can make them in so many cute ways. I just love them. I tried on the Palmer sample that we have here, which was not my size. It was a little bit small, but it was so cute that I really want to make those. I'm really into that idea. And then we had the Wit pants on a dress form. We were showing it off in a video the other day, and I was like, these are so cute. I would really love to make these too.
We have a lot of really good soft pants in the Seamwork catalog.
So I should mention the Wit pants are a woven jogger. So really just they have the look of a jogger, but you can make them in a woven fabric. I was thinking they'd be so nice in a cream color twill or something for spring. Would be really pretty and easy to wear.
Yeah, and this formula, the way that we put it forth is with wide leg pants, but I feel like you have versatility here. That if you prefer to have something that's a little bit more of a tapered fit for your pants, and then something that's a little bit more roomy up top, that would be a really great variation on this that would still work great with a pair of clogs or some sneakers.
That's a great thing about formulas. You just find the part of it that works for you, and then you can do whatever variations you want on it. Like
Mm-hmm.
maybe it's the fact that it's a soft pant and you like different silhouettes in a soft pant. Then you could do, the Joss if you want something that's more wide leg. You could do the Wit if you want something that's a little bit more tapered. You could vary it just knowing that it's the elastic waist, it's the softness, the volume in certain areas that makes it comfortable for you. So I think that's just a really cool thing about outfit formulas. All right, let's recap the 5 outfit formulas that we shared today. So we talked about flared jeans with a pretty blouse and flats for the 70s inspired look. Then classic trousers with a long sleeve tee and a wrap coat for a preppy, kind of polished vibe. Haley shared the rainy day formula of a denim skirt with a sweater, tights, and rain boots. We covered the wrap dress with a cardigan and flats for easy feminine dressing. That's going to be one of my go-tos this spring for sure. And finally, soft pants with a fitted tee and clogs or boots for comfortable but pulled together days. And I think my big takeaway from this conversation is how much easier it is to get dressed when you've thought through these combinations ahead of time. And that's really what, our Design Your Wardrobe program is all about, just taking time with your creative decisions and thinking through all your choices so you can make things you actually love and wear. Because I think when you plan intentionally, you're not just making those individual garments, you're really building a wardrobe that works together. And I think having formulas helps a lot with that and integrates really well with the process that we use here at Seamwork. So what's your takeaway, Haley?
I think that my takeaway would be that sometimes when you're trying to come up with your own formulas or you're like interpreting other people's formulas for your own life, it can feel really overwhelming because it feels like there's a lot of different like possibilities, a lot of different options. And something that we touched on that I think can be really helpful at helping you to zero in on what will work for you is to think about the details that are going to work for your lifestyle. These are like the practical things like elastic waist or long sleeves or things like that. And then I want you to think about like the silhouettes that you feel comfortable in, because I think that a lot of us tend to have shapes and silhouettes that we feel most comfortable in, we feel flatter us best or represent us the best. And if you can consider those 2 things, that coming up with your formula or adapting a formula is going to be a lot easier. And it's also the result's going to be something that you're going to like a lot more.
Yeah, absolutely. And that can change over time too. You can just keep discovering things that work for you or don't work for you, or maybe they worked for you in the past and they don't work for you anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I found that for me, it's changed over the years. And obviously your style changes as you evolve, but you'll keep discovering things that you feel comfortable in at a certain phase of life that maybe you didn't before or vice versa. So I think it's another good thing to keep experimenting and trying and just questioning yourself and listening to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It's really helpful. And speaking of planning your wardrobe, we just released 2 brand new patterns for spring that fit perfectly into several of these formulas. And I mentioned them already, but I want to touch on them again if you want to check them out. The Thistle cardigan is the first one, which is a boxy cardigan with a simple flat lay collar. So it has a straight cut and semi-fitted sleeves, and it ends in 3-inch cuffs. So you could make it in French terry, in double knit, or you could use a sweater knit for it. And I think it would be really gorgeous over the wrap dress formula we talked about, or paired with jeans and a tee for something more casual. And then the Posy wrap dress that I mentioned earlier, it's a surplice wrap dress with a short A-line skirt. So it's really classic and charming, and it gives you the look of a wrap dress with none of the worries about the skirt flying open on windy days. And I'm really excited to make both of these. I'm hoping to make the Thistle with maybe a beaded embroidery on the collar or something like that. I'm playing around with some different ideas now, but I think there's a lot you could do with it. And both of these patterns are available now for Seamwork members. So if you're not a member yet, head over to seamwork.com to join us and get instant access to these patterns, plus our entire library of over 250 designs. And if you liked this episode, leave us a review. We would love to hear from you. You can leave a review on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify. It really helps people to discover the show, and we love hearing from you guys. You can also follow us on YouTube at Seamwork Video. You can follow us on Instagram at Seamwork. And if you'd like to become part of the Seamwork community, head over to seamwork.com to learn how to join. All right, that's it for us this week. I'm Sari.
And I'm Haley.
And this is Seamwork Radio.